My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Welcome everyone to the show. I have a very special guest with me here today. Welcome, Miss Désirée DuMonde. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to jump right in here with you. You're creating something really beautiful. It just has this totally different energy, dare I say, like the energy of contribution. And and I would love for you to bring us a little bit on the journey and tell us what you're creating and what you're aware of. And can we first start with the horses?
Awesome.
The horses.
So what I'm creating rather directly is just an opportunity to come together, to be together every day, the month of December. And I'll be reading one of my favorite books and kind of extrapolating some highlights that we'll talk about later about possibilities being a contribution. Meanwhile, everyone who's coming is going to be paying their $99 to attend, and those proceeds are all going to the Cloud Foundation, which there's many amazing nonprofits out there in the world. This one just hits as a special one for me. Mainly it's up where my grandparents lived, and it's a mountain that I grew up seeing and seeing the horses. I've seen the horses. My mom has always loved seeing the horses. And it's just one of those places where it's in your blood, like people who you love for many, many, many years have seen the horses, and the magic of really coming upon wild horses is becoming one of those things that is rare. These horses are near extinction. Wild horses is just a subject in and of itself that you can research. But they are round up and oftentimes sold off to try to be for many different things. I don't even want to get into all of that stuff. But the preservation of them running wild takes a lot of people coming together to preserve and prevent all kinds of things that occur on public land. So this is one of the missions. I mean, just knowing that these herds are out there being untamed, being in communion and contribution with each other and with the earth. Horses function with each other. They're never designed to be individuated creatures, nor are we. And as well as they love to work with mankind, horses, wild, if you've ever seen them, you ever have the honor of driving over the Pryor Mountain and you see them out there being what they be with the earth, it's a completely different horsepower. There's something that they are willing to be with each other that I wish more of us would pay attention to. So I think the book goes right alongside with the invitation that the horses are. Like, what would we be if we were in the untamed freedom that we could be with each other on the earth?
Wow. Okay. I just want to highlight something because I think people have these concepts, these ideas they buy into. When you think of like wild, untamed, a lot of people go, oh, if we were all wild, we would kill each other. It would be this like, but the energy that you're sharing really has the sense of like the wildness is part of the contribution.
Yeah. Well, how much does taming ourselves into individuated lives actually make us all angry and frustrated? No, right? Roar. We're really designed to play and rumble and explore. It sounds like, oh, that's airy-fairy and kind of fun in theory, but it never really works in a pragmatic way of like society. but we wouldn't know until we were really willing to be that present and that conscious and that awake with each other. And part of that is an immensity of allowance and having the tools to be in allowance with each other, and even cultivating a space where possibilities is our interest, not winning or losing or having the success or failure of this reality. We don't have enough interest in exploring together and creating together, because everything's been indoctrinated to, do your best as an individuated win. And even those who do succeed or win in this reality still have a lot of that pent up anger. And I would be bold enough to say that most people have that pent up anger because they're starved for more communion and joy with one another. And the way that we do it isn't satiating possibilities. We do it in forms of like entertainment. That's not about creating together. Living, thriving on a planet together is very satiating. Entertaining each other, maybe satisfying for a short amount of time.
Wow. And so would you say like these wild horses are creating together?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. And they're willing to buck and rear and bite and fight, but it's not about a win. And they're also willing to be a space of peace with each other without it meaning something or having to be some seance or whatever. It's about being. And, in access consciousness, we talk a lot about tools for being, and it can be an abstract conversation on the front end, but the more you lean toward it, it's all of those places where you have the satiation of getting to be alive with others. If we really wanted to be so individuated, we wouldn't have been a part of such a big herd. Yeah. What's possible if we had that kind of horsepower together, even if we disagree on a whole bunch of things, but it doesn't stop us from where we're going or what we all love together. Which possibilities versus what would be the antithesis word? It's like, trying to think of what we do here that is not possibilities. We do successes where there's
opportunity to succeed.
Yeah. It's all about successes, opportunities to succeed. Possibilities is this thing where if it's one of those words that you're like, I don't really get it. I don't get it. The best way that I could describe it is when you are aware of a possibility with another person, it's like two people are seeing the third thing and they're in love with that third thing. It's not about who each person is. It's like when a lot of people look at another thing and they love it. So as a musician, I always used this example, so as a classical singer, I would arrive at a rehearsal with maybe 80 people between orchestra and cast. And not a lot of us like each other. Not a lot of people are going to be similar. You don't have to like each other, but we all are in love with this thing, which is the opera that we're creating. And when the music starts, we're in the possibility of where we can go with it. And that was the closest I could get to it in this life, was wow, we're all in love with this other thing that has to be created by all of us adoring it, whether we like each other or not. In rehearsals, you can buck and rear and bite and fight, but it's all for the creation. And it was just I was like, where is that in all of our life? And in reading Blessed Possibilities by Gary Douglas, there's many books and many classes and whatever, but this one's just been landing in my world. I've read it now 3 times in the last 3 months. So it's talking to me. But that was an ask that I put into the world. I would like to have this, not just in music and not just with certain people who have like-minded ideas. I'd really like to institute this into the way that we are as people on the planet. So this is just an opportunity to have a conversation where you're contributing to halting these helicopters, rounding up the horses. And even if one call lands in your world where you're like, wow, I didn't know I could, maybe your vision of a greater future, a planet that's thriving even beyond your own time, is you're not alone in that. that there's other people that would like to really stimulate conversation and even possibly build businesses and creations around our love for a greater future together.
Wow. That is so beautiful. And what I'm really looking at here with you right now is like this, there's a treasure here. There's a treasure in, well, the book, but also like looking at, sometimes we don't even know an energy or a possibility exists until we see it somewhere.
Yeah.
And you're describing these wild horses like being this possibility. And the treasure is in that, and in witnessing that, and in having it just even in the world, even if you don't live near it, maybe you didn't get to go there as a kid. I'm over here in Canada and I'm receiving from them right now. And being able to come invited by you, like in this way, and maybe like other ways, I'm sure there's other ways, but to come together and engage with this beautiful book. And while you're engaging with the energy of these horses in a totally different way.
Yeah, that's so please go to the cloudfoundation.org and donate if you are interested in this subject, or just read about it, or any nonprofit or anyone that anyone's doing. I mean, but to connect the book to it, where we'll be posting in the group things about the horses, pictures, videos that are coming up on their social media. But having this conversation that where we get to have the choice. There is a choice that we can have to be phenomenance, and it doesn't take some 3 decades of some dogma or, praying to something to become it. It's not even about a becoming. It's a choice and a demand, and it changes the way that we engage with each other. Because I know for me, like many years, I thought I was shy. I was in a really competitive industry. So between shy and a competitive industry, it was just paralyzing. And I only felt comfortable with people in certain settings where I could let down, but engagement from the passion that I am for the planet and for the world was like with my diary, it was like, or like in my prayers. It wasn't something that I could have with you, like right now, or just with people like listening. And now it's available because we seekers and creators are interested now in letting go of all those inhibiting rules of trying to be a success. I know for myself, like trying to be a success was not a big enough ask. Being a creator of a greater possibility, or let alone plural, greater possibilities, now that gives me a crown to wear. And that's kind of where that horsepower kicks in. Like these horses exude a swagger and a love for being alive. I mean, it's just like, I am here, I am alive, I am strong, I am having this moment. They don't miss an hour of their life looking for the validation of anyone or anything else. And I was like, wow, this conversation of us having the choice to be extraordinary, even beyond extraordinary, into the phenomenons, where you don't have to be the winner, you get to be the blessing.
Yeah.
And really like the bigness, like what I see in the world are a lot of people, some are winners, or some are thinking they're losers or whatever, but what I really see is a starvation for a bigness of value, sense of like, I'm part of something. So this is hopefully an invitation to where we get to remind ourselves how to engage with one another as phenomenons. It's going to change the way you talk to people. You're going to get over your shyness, or over the fact that, you don't like people, because your possibility is going to run all over you, because you're going to be jazzing with horsepower possibility. You're not going to give a crap about what people think anymore. So that's the real phenomenon. It's like the blessing is, wow, how much fun could I have just like overriding all of this stuff that I thought was relevant and just charging toward living with others. And if they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. And it doesn't look like anything that we know, but it definitely will have more enthusiasm and joy. Definitely probably comes with more health. Probably more like passion for waking up every morning. Just maybe.
Yeah.
You know, when we get to care about something bigger than ourselves, we get really excited to wake up.
Oh, yeah. And like, can we talk about that for a minute? Like, I know a lot of people are not excited to wake up right now. A lot of people are, and you're right. It's the race to success, the searching for validation. And what you just said, like knowing that you're the blessing melts that. If you know your being is a blessing, you don't need validation. It's like it wouldn't even, yeah. And now waking up every day knowing, whoa, I'm a blessing in this world. I'm a blessing. It's a blessing that I woke up today. It's a blessing that I'm here. It's a blessing that I choose.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a completely different way of living.
I mean, I have goosebumps all over again because this conversation never ceases to turn me up even more. That's true. So like the way you just, like, that's the truth. So the depression, oppression, suppression of the truth is very common right now. And people are tired. They're tired of trying to win. If they never got to win, then they're just ashamed of what they didn't win. So you're tired of winning or you're ashamed of what you didn't win. We didn't come all this way for that. We're more like those wild horses. We work together and thrive together, but we've got to get our eyes on the possibilities. So we've been blind to possibilities for a long time. We've made ourselves blind to what turns us on, gives us like that big wherewithal within our heart where you sleep deep and you wake up bright-eyed, because you don't have to try to figure out where you stand in the barometer of judgment. You get to wake up as a participant in the possibilities and a big player just by being you, not by how you choose it, but just by acknowledging you're part of it and enjoying your choices adds. But it's not, you don't have to do it right. You just get to acknowledge that you're there. And then each choice from the enthusiasm that you are actually beyond value, greater than value. Then your daily choices have more swagger, like horses have. I mean, like I've learned so much from being around horses more and more and more. There's never a moment of apology for being. Not even a flinch of an apology for being.
Wow.
It's just like, and I might look like I'm just standing here and people think that horses are, lazy by nature. And that could be true to some degree, but that they're also being something. They're not having to prove their horsepower, but then at any given moment, they can turn anything on. It's just this commitment to the presence of their choice. It's like, I'm standing here and I'm committed to the presence of this choice, and it changes things around them. You're around a horse, you're going to change. So I'm like, damn, I'd like to be more like that. I know I am, but I'd like to undo all the places that I'm still pretending that I'm not, so I can just reveal it and be one of those people that people get to change around, relax around, let go of craziness around. I'd like to be a blessing for other people, let alone also the planet and animals and everything that we care about. But what this group really is about, as much as we're raising money for these horses, is to get people engaged in caring about something beyond themselves. So we get to care about something together, and it's going to change how we care about each other. I hope. That's the secret mission. I wasn't supposed to say it out loud.
Well, and I love
that. I have a secret mission to get people to care about themselves and one another more. Oops.
And the beyond caring about themselves really lands in it's in that you will it's so funny because it's like caring less about themselves, because the themselves is the personality. It's the image. It's this thing. It's the succeeding. So less caring about that. And as you move into caring about something greater, and in that caring, you acknowledge the blessing that you are. So you actually care more about yourself.
Yep. You get to wear the swaggering beads and feather of one who honors themselves, and the virtual self, this whole reality now, especially for our younger ones. I'm like, please, like, even if you got this for your teenage kids and they watch one of them out of all 31, or they don't even like it and they reject it, but you still got it for them. But this whole world of managing a virtual self and trying to keep that right and keep that better than you even think you are, because you have really no sense of who you are. You only can manage and maintain this thing that you hope you could ever be. I mean, what a sadness for our very potent species. We didn't come here to have to hide behind a virtual veil. I would rather find out just how much I care about things, and even if I make a damn fool of myself while doing it, I'd rather go down as a damn fool who wasn't hiding from myself. So, it's every little step of, maybe I could, what else could I get really interested in? What else could I learn? What book could I pick up? Maybe even just going to the Cloud Foundation website and like giving yourself 10 minutes to see some of their videos and read about Cloud, read about the Mother Phoenix. She just recently died. Where they're seen, follow them on Instagram. Just a couple little choices of opening yourself up to another thing. So I have a lot of like desire for people to just have more interest in things that are actually occurring, rather than all the entertainment. What are the possibilities, are things in action, and entertainment is always a distraction. So look for things that are in action that you can saddle up and be a part of.
Yes. Okay. I want to quickly, could you talk a little bit? You talked about phenomenance. You've been talking a little bit about the book. I want to hear, I know like you love this book. What do you love about it? What are you excited about it? What is phenomenance? Go.
So phenomenance is like, it's the ability and the choice to create beyond this reality. So you got to be willing to go beyond your idea of win, lose, or fail. You got to be willing to go beyond a little greater than you think of yourself, which is the extraordinary life. Mm-hmm. Phenomenance is that it's like creating something that has never before been seen. It's creating a difference. Where you actually get to be a trailblazer. It's like the creation from what you know is possible, and it's going beyond all of those reasons and justifications. It's also, it's not hitched or bound by any reasons other than the creativity of a different possibility. There's so many things that I can continue to say. It's also moving beyond, taking not just yourself, but inviting you and anyone else beyond modernity, beyond mediocrity, and even including beyond the extraordinary. Phenomenance is for the ones that really want to test their wings.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's a willingness to be judged and a willingness to be different, and not in some crazy, wacky way, but from the difference of knowing you are actually beyond value. Not requiring validation and having your target high and here, high and here at the same time.
Wow.
We get to be that. We frickin' get to be that. How lucky are we? And it's just a choice, and it's a knowing that you are that. And anyone who's listening to that, you are it. Yes, you are that. We get to bring what we know and hope here. We don't have to endure all this other stuff. We actually can just be the phenomenons beyond it.
Yes. God.
Right? It's a lot faster and a lot more fun.
A lot more fun. So why this book?
Well, mainly because it's just congruent to the horses. And this was on my shelf for a really long time. And I love all of Gary's books. And for whatever reason, I wasn't picking it up much until this year. And it was congruent to some demand I made of myself, which I think we've talked about in many ways in this conversation. But I've had a really awesome life in many ways, and I choose things, but there was still this day where I was like, I know there's greater than just greater. And I desire it with this inclusive energy. Like I'm willing to go alone, but I desire this for a lot of others. I desire this for even time and worlds beyond my own. And so it was just all of a sudden when I had made a demand to me, then the book popped and I've been hooked on it. And the chapters and what he moves through in the conversations are all those places that we tend to try to do right or we try to do great. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of peel through aspects of your life and living and kick open more doors. So in every aspect, you can at least do your damnedest to be a phenomenance. So horses, I think also I have a horse now. It's the first year of my life. I've been a horse mama, and it's brought me more joy. I say it to anyone who ever asks about it, that it's the greatest gift I've ever given myself in this life because of everything she's showing me that I wasn't willing to be. And it wasn't about necessarily riding her and having a horse in the way that we do. I mean, of course, all of that is wonderful, but in being around her and connecting to her in a different way, she made me tremble with what I was avoiding. And it was this bigger thing called phenomenance. And whenever I'm around her, I get tested to like her bigness. Am I willing to know more about where she's functioning from? And then of course my grandpa always singing to the prior mountain and having a connection to these particular horses, and my mom's interest in these horses, and just all the people that I know personally through the ones here on the Cloud Foundation. And that's a whole other thing. But in connecting to having her, it connected me more to why I have a house full of pictures of these horses. I'm looking on my wall now. I have pictures of the wild horses from the Cloud Foundation that I've had for 10 years. So they've been in my world, in my heart, without my direct engagement. So to be aware of something and send your blessings and have them in your awareness is one thing, but then to just go ahead and be like, well, let's talk about them. Let's read something. Let's be more like them. It just popped. It's all coming together because can't hide anymore from the things that I'd like to talk about, whether anybody listens or cares to join in. I can't hold it back. No more bottlenecking what I want to bring forward to the world.
Yes. Is that photo? Which horse is that photo in the background there?
This is my horse, Azúcar.
Oh, wow.
She's a Costarricense de Paso from Costa Rica. She's a dancing horse. She's a very beautiful lady. She's pure white and she's something else. She's very sassy and very strong, and she ain't no delicate flower. She's like, bring it. And if you don't, I'm bored.
Wow.
I was like, I like this energy. What if we were all like this with each other? Bring it. Let's bring it and let's do this. And we don't have to agree, but let's go toward that third thing that we all love, or that bigger picture.
Yeah. Well, we're almost out of time. Did you have a sampling? Was there something you wanted to read?
Sure. Well, sure. No? Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll read from here. Phenomenance is where you move beyond the ordinary and the extraordinary, the extra of the ordinary, into that which does not create or compute in this reality. You become a creator when you're being the phenomenance. You become the phenomenance of a different possibility. Have you ever created anything beyond other people's reality, but you keep acting like you're ordinary? Are you really good at doing ordinary? If you truly choose phenomenance, you will lose everything that is considered normal in this reality. Your normalcy will go away, and all you will have left is extreme potency. That is a choice that you have.
Wow.
Don't do it. Don't choose extreme potency. To be phenomenons and to function as phenomenons, you must move outside of time. You must move outside of dimensions and outside of reality. You create your life outside of those things because that's where you are, on the creative edge of blessed possibilities. And that's like just such a, I mean, a huge subject, but such a gift also to not just go beyond our success or our win or our fail, but our allotted time frame that we think our mortal life has, to really include, like I love to say as much as I can, include a time beyond our own. Like I'd like to look back in 500 years and think I left it greater than I found it.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. So we're going to have links to this possibility.
Yay!
Yay. And so it's 31 days, right?
Yep. Every day in a private Facebook group, I'll go live. Beautiful.
Yay. Yep. And they can interact with you.
$99. That's nothing.
Yeah.
You can always donate more, but that's just the baseline donation to join us.
Thank you so much for all of this. I feel different having just had this conversation, and I'm sure the listeners are just blessed by you too. So thank you.
You are such a blessing, and you're always inviting possibilities to be heard with all that you be. So thank you for being you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?